Alright guys, Hazink here. Welcome back to the channel for another Dislyte video. I'm trying to enunciate that better. On today's video, we are going to be talking about the things that I regret since starting this game, okay? Now, if you are a new player, maybe you'll get some things from this video and it'll stop you from kind of repeating some of the mistakes that I have. Nothing game breaking, but there's certainly some things that I am very disappointed in myself for doing, okay? So I'm going to start off first of all by talking about one of my bigger regrets, and that is the amount of characters I have taken to level 60, okay? I mean, there's just characters that I've raised up from 4-star to 5-star, and there's characters I've taken up to level 60 that I'm not going to use. I mean, for me personally, on my account, I have a lot of characters, as you can see, and I've still got quite a lot of characters I have to work on, and that's just legendaries. And I had a lot of these units, and I decided to do things like raising Mona up to 6 stars. I'd done things like raising this guy here up to 5 stars, and to be honest, I don't really know why I did it. I just got kind of swept up in the whole, oh, let's just raise this unit's level, let's just raise that unit's level, forgetting that resources are finite in this game. Yeah, I mean, you can like go and grind your ability mon up, your star mon up and get them up to higher levels, but all of that takes time and it takes stamina, and stamina costs you crystals, and you know, it just becomes this cycle where you're constantly trying to get these guys leveled up. So if you use your dupes, if you use your star mon a lot more sparingly and don't just level everything to level 60 for the sake of it, then you're going to get on a lot better in this game. So I wish I had treated my resources a little bit more, I want to say respectfully, that's a good way to put it. Kind of going hand in hand with that, I wish that I had not got so swept up with tier lists, okay? Now, I'm going to say something that might come off as a little bit controversial. I don't necessarily agree with the tier list. Obviously, everyone has their opinion, okay? But for me, I pulled this unit quite a long time ago, but I convinced myself because of the tier list I needed Sally. I got it in my head, Sally's the best healer in the game, I have to get Sally. And I kept summoning to try and get Sally. Now, as you will have seen if you watch my content, I did get her a few videos back when I done quite a large summoning. I went to Pity twice and I eventually got Sally. I don't use Sally that much, to be honest, because in my opinion, Clara is a vastly better healer. I cannot for the life of me figure out why Sally is ranked higher on the tier list than Clara. Clara just has so much more going for her. So I think potentially Sally could be a better healer, but she's not for me. So what I'm trying to say here is, I feel like judging your entire gameplay experience on what characters you're going to use, what team build you should go for based on a tier list is wrong, because it's not always going to suit your playstyle. It's not always going to suit your team builds. And just because someone is rank SS on a tier list, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to slot into the team that you're trying to build. So I do really regret doing that. I'm kind of still trying to chase the Tiger Lady based on the tier list, but I've actually tried that unit out and I do want to get them. But again, I just wish that I hadn't let my opening gameplay experience be hampered by letters on a tier list. I just feel like it was a bit of a bad way to start. And I do say to people, before you go making up your mind, why don't you go into like the story? Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Why don't you go into something like the story, choose a practice stage, and rather than judging it with the tier list, why don't you just go to your friends leads, see who they've got, and choose a character that you're maybe interested in from there and have a go at them. Like, actually try them yourself, see how they fit into your team build, like see if there's someone who's going to function for you, and then you'll know yourself if it's worth putting investment into that character in the long run. I feel like that's probably better, to be honest, than just getting too hung up on a tier list, you know. One of my other big regrets revolves around this, to be honest. It revolves around gold. I treated gold as if it was just nothing. and I leveled so many relics. Lots of them I've just sold now as well. I leveled so many relics up that I don't use anymore, and to be honest, gold is hard to come by. Gold is very hard to come by, and there's stuff here like this elite. I shouldn't have leveled that, you know. I mean, I should have been a bit more sensible about my currency. If you go down to here and look, you'll see there's other ones that I have leveled. I mean, elites when I should have held out for a flawless. You've got more here. Just check, like, I'm sure I've put some investment into flat boosts, which you should never do. It's just dumb on my part. Actually, somehow I managed to avoid doing that, but still, I shouldn't have leveled a lot of the relics that are leveled, you know. You can use them to help you get by, you know. Just put something into them to help you get by. But before you start putting your big investments in, taking them all the way up to level 15, like I touched on in the video I put out yesterday, you should really try and make sure you're putting your investments into good sets, because at the end of the day, you're just wasting your time. You're wasting your time, you're wasting your resources, and you're not going to get that back too easily. You get a lot of gold from doing missions at the start of the game. Those missions run dry. You don't get those missions long term. So I wish I had treated gold to be a bit more of an important resource than it actually is. I feel like that would have been something that was a lot better. This is something that I did that was dumb. That was, I mean, like, seriously, it was the dumbest thing ever. I do not like this character, Biodonna. I do not like her, okay? I'm not a fan of this character at all. I pulled a dupe of this character and I decided to just use that dupe to level up another unit to 6-star. It was the dumbest thing you could do. The reason it was the dumbest thing you can do is because whenever you resonate a character, I'm sure most of you are aware of this by now, but whenever you resonate a character, surely I can do it here. Whenever you resonate a character, if you resonate a 4-star character, then when you're finished with your when you're finished resonating, you get a 4-star Starmon. So if you resonate a 4-star, you get a 4-star Starmon. You resonate a 5-star, you get a 5-star Starmon. So really, the level that I gained, or the ascension material that I gained for, not the ascension material, but the star level raise that I got from using Biodonna, I would have got that anyway if I had just fed her in, gave the dupe into resonance. I'd have got a Starmon and I'd have been able to level the character up anyway. I don't know why I done it. Like, I had already raised up the level of someone like this guy here, so I knew firsthand that I would get a Starmon for doing it. But my dumb ass still did it anyway, so don't do that. don't ever do that. I do highly regret doing that. It is something that really, really peeves me off. Other than that, I mean, I feel like I'm quite happy with the rest of my choices in game. Obviously, I mean, I wish I maybe hadn't summoned as much as I did, but I did explain that already, that I did that more for the fact that I was chasing things on a tier list. And I would say that, again, don't let a tier list dictate to you how you play your game. Don't let a tier list tell you what characters you should or should not be summoning for, because yeah, it can be a good pointer, but don't let it run your gameplay experience. Don't let it decide every character you want to invest in. Like I say, there's methods there that you can try out your characters, you can try out your friends' characters, and you can make the decisions for yourself, you know. I feel like it's a better way to do it. I mean, if you really want, you can watch YouTube videos, which, again, they can be helpful for this type of thing, but it's always subjective. Like, if the person that you're watching the video on absolutely adores a character, they have a team build that's perfect for that character, they have a gear set that's amazing for that character, they're going to tell you that character is fantastic, and rightfully so, but it can take you a lot of work to get that character performing the way that you're seeing it performing in a video or something like that. Whereas some characters are a lot more forgiving to players who maybe don't have the same level of investment available to them, or the same team builds available to them. So I would say just go into your friend leads, see if you can find the character that you want, and see how they work. And if they work well, then go ahead, start putting your investment into them, start putting your ability mon into them. Ability mon is probably my actual last regret. These things are so hard to get. They are so hard to get, and I have personally only really put mine into Gabby and Lee Ling. But you just never get them, and I don't really know if long term I'm going to continue to use Lee Ling. I kind of regret putting as many into him. Yeah, he got me through the early game, but honestly I don't feel like I couldn't have got through the early game without him. You know, I feel like I could have still done it without him, and I would much rather have put my ability mon into players like Lucas, into finally finishing off Clara, you know, stuff like that. I just feel like long term they would have served me better. It's not as bad with 4 and 3 stars obviously, but when you get to the legendary stage, ability mon are just an absolute nightmare, so I wish that I had held on to them a lot more. The other thing I do wish I'd waited for as well, and this is probably my final regret, is summoning in general, because at the end of the month there's going to be a character focused banner, and as far as I'm aware, on a character focused banner you get the new unit plus 3 other units, and they're right up at 2%, so overall you're going to have a higher chance of summoning legendary characters on a character banner, and I feel like all of my summons have been a bit of a waste of time, mainly because if I had used that same investment later in the month, just by taking a double rate, which going from 1% to 2% it is, theoretically I would have potentially pulled twice as many legendary characters. So I wish I had just had the patience to hold off and wait for that. And if you are someone who has been saving, then well done, you might be in a good position at the end of this month. But that's really it. That's the only regrets I've got from Dislyte. Let me know in the comments down below what you regret about starting this game, and don't say starting the game at all is a regret, because I'm not taking that. But let me know if there's anything you're disappointed in yourself for. I'm Hazink, and I'll catch you in the next video, dudes. Peace out, and I'll see you later.